Question to me, is Trump alive? Or am I being misinterpreted? Is he?
Well, sometimes he says things I don't agree with, and I think they don't resemble the facts. But I'm not going to go. But wait a minute. But there's a difference between saying sometimes when I can see that there are politicians that say things that don't resemble the facts. And I can actually call some people very close to me on the facts don't match the reality. But I'm not going to go so far as to call somebody a liar. That's where you get, when you start using terms like that. But Bernie, we've seen it in Congress. We saw it, back in the days when we were in the majority and they were after Jim Wright and all those things. There was a lot of calling it liar. We just let the facts speak for themselves, and then we can draw a conclusion. And I'm only saying this not because I'm trying to defend anybody. I'm worried about my country. I'm worried about us getting through this.
Talk about the facts. I mean, Jake asked a pretty simple question. And I'm just, all that I'm saying is it's not a question. You're a conservative. I don't think you're a liar. We disagree on everything. But that doesn't make you a liar. It doesn't make me a liar. But if you were to tell me that 3 to 5 million people voted illegally in this election, of which no Republican official or Democratic official believes, what should I say? I think it's a lie.
Look, I guess I'm going to belabor this. They didn't think I would. Does that mean somebody that writes a campaign ad that distorts somebody's record is a liar? I mean, we just have to be careful about our terms. That's all I'm saying. Okay?
John, good? All right, let's go to the... All right.
He's conceded everything.
Let's go back to the audience. Want to bring in McCullough Klein from right here in Washington, who has a question for you, Governor Kasich.
Thank you, Governor Kasich. My question is, how can we trust the FBI to carry out a fair and impartial investigation into Russian interference, given that President Trump may have tried to influence or pressure James Comey to stop investigating Michael Flynn?
Have you ever met any FBI agents? Let me tell you, they're unbelievable. They are some of the best that you can find in our country. They do their jobs, and even though Comey is gone, and I guess a lot of people in the FBI were very upset and disappointed by that, can they find somebody that can step up and really? Of course they can. The FBI is an incredible, amazing organization that does one heck of a job in multiple ways. So do I think they can get to the bottom of this? Do I think they're an integral part of this? I don't have any doubt about that.
Let me just, I don't know. A couple of years ago, Democrats changed the rules in the Senate, requiring 50 votes for most appointees, not the Supreme Court. Republicans took another step further, made 50 votes for the Supreme Court, and that wasn't. I would hope that at this moment that Republicans would retreat a little bit, and I know it's tough for them, and bring us back to the 60-vote threshold for the FBI director for one reason, so that the American people would see that this is a bipartisan vote. If the vote for the next FBI director, and by the way, historically, they've almost always been unanimous, 100 to nothing for the FBI director. That's just the way it's been. But if we have a new FBI director who gets appointed by, say, a 52-48 vote, a party line vote, I think that would be a bad thing for the country. And it will kind of raise issues that the gentleman who just asked the question.
The thing, though, about the filibuster is, the founders were really very smart about this. And I can remember being in New Hampshire saying we had to get rid of the filibuster. And John Sununu, young John, the senator, he lectured me on the rules and why they matter. And the filibuster is something that's designed to prevent kind of in some sense, I was going to say a rampage through Congress, designed the heat of the moment to not let things pass that we regret. And now we've seen twice this issue of the filibuster being knocked down. And Bernie, what I would say to you is, if I were up there, I were the leader of the Senate, or if I were the Speaker of the House, and you served on the budget, you came before the budget committee. I was very fair-minded when I ran that committee. Even though it was a partisan committee, I ran it fairly, and you can't have 52-48, and it's going to be incumbent on the Republicans and whoever they decide to pick to say, no, we have to have somebody that can be widely accepted.
Well, that's
by
exactly
both parties.
that was the
But I'm not sure you need to break the.
Well, that's the way you want.
Go to 60 votes or.
Senator Sanders, does there need to be an FBI director nominee who is not political, not partisan, who is just completely separate from that to potentially help someone like you or other Democrats vote regardless
At
of the
this
Senate?
moment, where there is, I mean, we've heard some of the questions tonight, where there is so much suspicion, you know, and you can do it one of two ways. I like the idea of the 60 vote threshold for the new FBI director, because that would automatically mean that it's bipartisan. But, you know, John is right. If you end up bringing forth somebody that both sides agree with and end up at 80 or 90 votes, the American people, I think, will feel comforted by that. But to answer your question, Dana, this person cannot be political. That would be the worst thing in the world for Trump to bring forth.
I want to turn to Kevin Houghton. He's a Green Beret and Afghanistan combat veteran from Maryland, and he has a question for you, Senator Sanders. Kevin?
Without a doubt, President Trump asking FBI Director Comey to end the investigation into National Security Advisor Michael Flynn is a very serious allegation. At the same time, Congress and the Senate are already investigating Michael Flynn and President Trump. As a Green Beret Afghanistan combat veteran, it is demoralizing to see the country I fought for and know people who have died for continue to tear itself apart. At what point can we allow the investigations to run their course and focus on important issues facing our country, like healthcare reform and taxes?
Kevin, first of all, thank you very much for your service. And you asked, that's kind of the point that I made when we began. What we need now, in every respect, is let's get through this damn thing. And to do that, we need bipartisan efforts. We need to get to the truth. We need to see where the truth leads us. And it may well be, you know what? It may well be that there was no collusion. And that's that. Let's end it. It may well be that there was collusion. Then we have to deal with that. But the point that you just made, and why I think I'm so upset about this whole business, is the American people are hurting. You got a middle class which has disappeared. 43 million people living in poverty. People can't afford their health care. They're worried about climate change. They can't afford to send their kids to college. And they turn on CNN, and what do we got? Here we are talking about this. So I think we have got to get behind this. We've got to get over this. We've got to go do this objectively, get over with it as quickly as we can, so we can, in fact, get back to the business of the American people.
The reason why Bernie and I are here tonight is we were going to discuss health care. We were going to discuss taxation, the situation of the middle class.
We were going to discuss this and this and this, but now we're just going to discuss Trump.
Trade, and it was going to be a very interesting discussion, I felt, and not a yelling and screaming debate or an interrupting, but a good discussion. But this is a serious matter now, and CNN asked us if we would come and do this. And this is the order of the day, and Bernie and I are in complete agreement when it comes to getting to the bottom line, so we can then move on, and then have a spirited debate about how we move forward with our country. The most important
I'm not going to lie.
Getting this country
Kasich and Sanders would actually be a good combination in this country.
In America, to take 10 minutes to read or listen to something we don't agree
They would balance each
open
other.
our ears and open our eyes to other people's concerns,
Not a bad
other
idea.
people's opinions. If we do that, we'll come together as a country. That's how it worked best when I was up on
I think John makes
and in Ohio.
John makes a good point. We should be open-minded. We should listen to people who disagree with us. And we should also, though, begin to figure out why we have a Congress, in my view,
Just make this a little
which is so
smaller.
far out of touch with where the American
Play some Destiny while we're doing this.
And why they are so involved. Big money, interest, and campaign contributors. That's an issue I think at some point, John and I will hopefully have the opportunity to discuss.
You will. We're going to have you both back next month to talk about healthcare, to talk about taxes, and all of those issues. In the meantime, we're going to take a very quick break. Coming up, talk of secret tapes and possible obstruction of justice, the comparisons to Watergate as we continue our live town hall on the White House crisis.
This place is cool. As a software factory should be.
So it runs on software?
It is software, enabling continuous delivery, frictionless security, agile across your company from mobile to mainframe.
I have no idea what you just said.
If you're going to compete on this, you're going to need all this.
So who does all of this?
CA Technologies.
some features of the hearts lean against the
When
girdle.
this bell rings, it starts a chain reaction that's heard throughout the connected business world.
Long
AT&T
ago, the
Network
mental
Security helps
rebellion
protect
against
business from
and
the
the
largest
temple
financial
faith of
markets to
men.
the smallest
Our
transactions by sensing
failed.
cyber attacks in near
Now
real time and
awaits the
automatically
mercy
deploying
of the
countermeasures, keeping the world of
Give a
business
chance
connected
to manipulate the
and
stepping
protected.
to take Alexis on.
That's
We
the
must
power
not
of AI.
allow another prince to rise.
Let's get to the other magazines. Test drive the new Countryman SAP at your local mini.
You want to know about the players. It's hard to relax with the noise. So you gotta play that way. Show people you have no limits. Make them question what they see. And that way, you can win. Not once, not twice, not three. Show them no one can stop you. This is what we play.
My business is built of passion, but I keep it going by making every dollar count. That's why I got the Smart Cash card from Capital One. With it, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all of my purchases. And then an unlimited 2% cash back from Smart means thousands of dollars each year going back into my business. Which adds fuel to my bottom line. What's in your wallet?
Does it make you uncomfortable?
What the hell?
Conversations really change. That's what United Change in America is all about.
Burke's expertise at medical and rehabilitation specialists using personalized plans are dedicated to helping ensure you achieve your needs.
This is CNN, the most trusted name in
Let's do this.
Welcome back to the CNN Town Hall. We're here in Washington, D.C. with Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont and Governor John Kasich of Ohio. You can learn more about our guests' political views and more in their books. John Kasich is the author of Two Paths, America Divided or United. Senator Sanders' book is titled Our Revolution, The Future to Believe. We now want to return to our audience and bring in Luke Nicker, a history professor at Texas A&M University. He is an expert on the Nixon tapes and digitized the nearly 4,000 hours of recordings. He has a question for Governor Kasich.
You remember President Nixon, and I remember. There are many comparisons with President Trump's recent actions and those by President Nixon during Watergate. However, it seems that to be Trumpian is something of a greater magnitude than simply being Nixonian. Do you agree?
Todd, I'd have to think about that for a half an hour. I don't know what I don't know how to feel about that. Look, here's what I'm most concerned about. First of all, I want to congratulate you for coming here from Texas A&M. You know how you get to Texas A&M? You go to the edge of nowhere and catch a plane. That's how you get to College Station. But sir, here's what I'm really concerned about.
Very encouraging.
Republicans cannot go high. I saw Republicans, they couldn't even find any Republicans to go on the air. Republicans cannot go and hide.
But Democrats have to be careful they don't exploit. Because if they exploit this for political gain, it's just going to be as bad as if the Republicans hide. Now, I think during Watergate, at the end of it, the Republicans, they had the committee, they had the select committee, and a lot of careers were made on that committee. And ultimately, the Republicans said there was something wrong that was done. They went down to the White House and said, Mr. President, you have to resign. But we're a long way from anything like that. What we know is that, again, don't let the Republicans go hiding somewhere. That's not right for your country and Democrats. Keep the fact that we have a fragile democracy and a fragile nation. So we've got to make sure that we give respect.
Oh, I'm streaming right now. What's up?
I'm going to ask you for here for a second.
What's up?
I'm going to have you to look at your daughter.
Oh no.
This is a cat.
Uh-oh.
But it is absolutely imperative that Republicans...
Yeah, I can get in just a second. Yeah. Bernie Sanders and Kasich are doing debate. I'm streaming it also.
Hey, will you use
Yeah.
When you think about it, Bernie and I don't think we agree on, one out of 10 issues. But you know what? There's some things we do. And I'll tell you what. And I was one of the leaders of it in the Republican Party.
Guardian down, yeah.
We are different on
I died turning on your media server. It's alright. No. Just right after you asked, I looked over at the computer to see if it was up, and I looked back and I was dead. No, oops. I don't care, I got revived. Well, I'm glad you do. Well, yeah, when you're the one who causes it, yeah. I ain't scared.
No, you're going to feel really bad.
No, I won't. That's your marital right.
I'm totally going to make that happen. Not in a bad way, but yeah.
Used word.
Yeah.
We have
You should see the cat in the
the
dark.
lowest rate of
Or
turnout
Nora
of
and the
almost
cat.
any major country.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm just waiting for the screen so I can leave the fire team because I don't want to do another strike.
Non-presidential
And I'm going to go take a look.
36% of the American people voted. Almost two-thirds of the American people did not vote.
Let's go take a look.
Has a favorable rating of 15, 18%. The American people are demoralized, and I worry about the future of this country. John and I probably will disagree as to why people feel the way they do. I think a lot of folks feel that their voice doesn't matter when billionaires are buying elections, and when corporations have so much power over our economy. But be that as it may, our job is to revitalize American democracy, to make you understand that you are America. When we stand together, we can do real things. And that is a very serious concern.
And it's about hope. It's about the fact that every single person in America feels they matter, and every single person in this country feels as though they count. And I think that that's been the great divide. Today in Columbus, I had a speech before I came here, and there was a young woman. I don't even know how she got to my event. Apparently, she must have taken a bus or walk, Bernie, and she stood up and she has mental illness. And she said, I'm so worried about the future. And she started to cry. You know what? She matters as much as anybody who's worth $1 zillion. She counts and she matters. And that's what we have to communicate, Republicans and Democrats alike, because I maintain that neither party really understands the problems of those who are the poorest and the least among us. And that is wrong. This is a country that has to give everybody a chance to rise to whatever God-given purpose they were born.
Right? Now let me just
Posting it up right now.
That wasn't a speech.
Sure.
Okay.
And that is, there is something profoundly wrong when we live in a nation in which the top 1%, 1/10 of 1%, owns more wealth than the bottom 90%. And we've got 43 million people living in poverty.
Trash is out, yeah.
Something profoundly wrong when you get one vote and you get one vote, yet the Koch brothers can spend hundreds of millions of dollars to buy elections. Something profoundly wrong. We talked about this woman with mental illness. And we got a Republican Party, if I may say, that wants to throw 24 million people off of health insurance, cut Medicaid by over $800 billion.
Bernie, you're not in the
Defund,
Republican Party, you know that?
I don't know who that dude is.
defund,
I do know who Mosley is.
no, it's the United States Congress. Defund Planned Parenthood,
What's
etc.
Mosley doing?
And the American people are saying, what about me? I'm working 2 or 3 jobs. I can't afford childcare. Can't afford to send my kids to college. And Republicans in Congress are talking about hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks for the very richest people in this country. Anyone give a damn about me? I'm just a working class person. So those are the issues that we have to focus on. How you rebuild an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%.
So Governor Kasich, you recently said you would not rule out another presidential run in 2020. President Trump has already filed for re-election. If he does go through with a re-election bid, do the events of his first few months in office indicate that some Republican, if not you, some Republican should challenge him? Well, I think it's too early, Jake. He's been in for, barely 100+ days. I mean, look, I'm rooting for my country. A lot of people think I wrote a book or that I'm on the show or I travel around because I want something. I'm thrilled. I'm a happy man. I'm worried about, look, I got these 17-year-old daughters. I don't know if they're watching tonight. Em and Reese, love you, and my wife and my friends. And that's all I care about. We can't predict the future. And when people, at one point during my tour, I said, I'm ruling out ever running for public office. And people said, why are you saying that? You don't know what the future is going to bring. So I flipped. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do in the future. I don't know, but I want to keep a voice. You think about this. I'm the governor of Ohio, and I'm here tonight talking about one of the most serious issues a country can face. So I don't know where the world is going to take me. I don't know what the Lord's purpose is for me, but I'm going to try to figure it out. And it may not be politics, and it may be, who knows?
Senator Sanders, you clearly galvanized and inspired millions of people in 2016. Many of them are waiting for a signal from you about your plans for 2020. Should they wait around for you, or should they shop for another
I don't
candidate?
agree with that. You have heard me both say this before. No, millions of people are not worried. We just had an election. You guys never end. You're probably wondering who's going to be running in 2030. How old are your kids? Are they going to be running in, 2094? All right. But,
What's up, guys?
And this is a criticism that I have in the media. People say it.
What are we doing?
About the issues.
Yeah. I've not done it yet. I can do it.
Not to guarantee healthcare to all people. Do you think it is wrong?
What's the modifier?
It is easy to ask whether Kasich is
What?
running, Sanders is running. That's easy stuff. It is hard
Nothing?
to
Okay.
talk about oligarchy in
Let me go to Striker. Sorry for the background noise. I'm streaming, and I'm also streaming the Bernie Sanders John Kasich debate.
We're not worried about it.
Hey, I like them both. I'll be honest.
She doesn't want to go through all this again.
Okay. Just for the record, we're not afraid of hard. We're not afraid of hard. We're not afraid of hard questions and issues.
Right.
We are talking about that. We'll continue to talk about that. But I have to say that I'm not going to want to hear this. Maybe both of you. Maybe
Oh yeah. Well, Bernie Sanders is more of my first choice, anyways, because I'm all about like personal responsibility and all that. And I don't mean that as a conservative kind of personal responsibility, because that's just smokescreen. I mean, like, I care more about your personal freedoms than I do about denying someone else's theirs. You know what I'm saying? I think you're perfectly legal and allowed to be as stupid as you want, as long as you're not affecting anybody else. That's how I look at things.
Yeah, we have fewer people voting, but more and more young people are deciding that they're not either Republican or Democrat. They're independent. You know why that is? Because the parties.
God, I hate this nightfall too.
There's too much politics, not enough exciting issues. I was telling my staff the other day, I go out, I get 300 people. Bernie goes out, he gets 30,000 people.
Nah, I just hate it. It's not fun. It's long.
I think it is possible in the future.
Are we rushing through everything?
Articulate, independent, become president.
I don't care.
I think these parties are going to get better.
This is not content to me.
And we're going to see a transformation, a realignment of the way.
Here's what you got. Obviously, that's what I'm rephrasing. The two major historical parties, the Republican Party and the Socialist Party, they didn't make it into the runoffs. And I think there is mass discontent with both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. I think Many people believe
No, I need to use a different gun.
that the working class and the middle class.
Clever Drag is not the ideal gun for PvE.
I want to wrap up right now.
Let's use.
An opportunity to make a closing argument.
Shit, I don't know what I want to use.
You'll each get 2 minutes.
I'll use a shadow.
I'll start with you.
Well, I think really about everything that needed to be said has been said tonight about Republicans not hiding, Democrats not exploiting this whole situation, that we need to get to the bottom of it. We get to the bottom of it. If you take healthcare, for example, I believe it's possible to fashion a reform of Obamacare with Republicans and Democrats working together. I think that nothing major gets done in this country. I know that nothing major gets done in this country unless both parties work together.
But no, I figured these two guys can actually have a discussion.
It's not stable.
So I was just kind of curious what they had to say.
Without Democrats, it's not stable. And so it is critical.
It's not going to turn into weird name calling and all that crap.
Aside too much partisanship. We're going to be conservatives and liberals. Put it aside and figure out how to cast that and work together to solve some of these very big problems. I would also say something to the people that are watching this show. Please settle down. Don't dislike or hate somebody that doesn't agree with you. Love your neighbor as you want your neighbor to love
Come back
you.
down and get this ammo.
This is so important in this country. And somehow we're treating each other, and not just in politics. If you're on United Airlines and they yank you off the plane, or you're Wells Fargo and you file phony accounts, or you're EpiPen and you jack up prices, I mean, is that the way you want to be treated?
Oh shit, I got lost.
So start thinking about other people a little bit, and we'll all have a better life, and we'll all be more unified. And I've enjoyed being with Senator Sanders tonight. We used to be in the House together. He testified before the Budget Committee. There's an old tape of it, and we both looked a heck of a lot better 20 years ago. So thank you for having us here tonight, and I hope it did.
Oh, it's over.
America.
Thank you, Governor Senator.
Just pick up on some of the points. I worry very much about the future of this country. I worry about the fact that so many of our people are working so hard, incredibly long hours, and almost all the income in wealth is going to the top 1%. And what I think has got to happen is that we need revitalization of democracy. And by the way, I did receive not so long ago we had the Women's March, where millions of people
Why can't I turn this thing on? Jesus.
came out to say
Hurry
that
up.
they are
Come on,
going to
Ghost.
be involved in the political process, that they believe that a woman has the right to choose, that they believe that we need guaranteed paid family and medical leave. We saw God knows how many people coming out to say to Donald Trump in terms of climate, you're wrong, Mr. President. Climate change is not a hoax. It is a great threat to the planet. We've got to take on the fossil fuel, transform our energy system away from fossil fuel, energy efficiency, and sustainable energy. We've seen rallies and town meetings all over this country where people say, you are not going to take away the health care that my wife has, because if you do, she may die. What we want to do is improve the Affordable Care Act, not throw 24 million people off of health care or raise premiums for older workers. We are the richest country in the history of the world. We should not be talking about cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare, cutting Medicaid, cutting health rates. We should not
Ooh, this
be
might have been a
talking
bad
about
choice for a gun.
hurting the poorest people in this country. What we need to do is stand up, in my view, to the greed of corporate America, to the greed of the billionaire class, and tell them they cannot have it all. This country belongs to all of us, not just the people.
Changing my gun. This gun sucks.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We want to thank Senator Sanders and Governor Kasich for being here tonight. You can read more about their views again in their books. John Kasich is the author of Two Paths, America Divided or United. Bernie Sanders' book is titled
Right below you, Mosley, there's a guy. A little sniper. He got me.
Our coverage live of tonight's breaking news continues now with Don Lemon and CNN Tonight in New York. Thanks for watching.
Oh, and they're done.
Deanna, thank you very much. Let's get to the news tonight. Our breaking news, and it's a story. Here we are again. Another one that's rocking.